Welcome to a rather blustery Páirc na hEirne here in Belleek this evening. My name's Maurice McLaughlin and we're here to bring you this Westville Division 1 league game between Erne Gaels and Derrygonnelly. The man on my left here who's going to do co-commentary with me needs no introduction. His family been involved with the blue and gold, or not, it's the purple and gold.
Purple and gold, very important.
Sorry, now getting mixed up there. But since 1924, his father Sean, the president of the club, and indeed played centre half back on the first Derrygonnelly championship winning team. Niall, thoughts on this one? Impartial thoughts on this one?
It's going to be quite difficult to do this job and be impartial, Maurice, but at least you being having your Erne Gaels affiliation as well, it's going to be quite interesting. No, looking forward to it. Obviously it's been I suppose a good season in terms of the competitive edge that there is to all of the games that are being played at the moment. And you can see from Erne Gaels that they've been working extremely hard in pre-season and are working their way through the season with 4 wins under their belt. And I suppose tonight now, I suppose for them, they'll be looking at it as another marker going forward, and particularly when they're playing in their own backyard.
Yes, indeed. Erne Gaels sitting on 8 points at the minute. Dergonly sitting on 5, having carried, I suppose, 3 points in. Probably a wee bit concerning for the Dergonly management.
Yeah,
losing 3 of the first 4 games, and I know being under strength and maybe a few suspensions has caused issues for them, but they have strength and depth in the squad, and possibly an opportunity for some of the younger players to step up here tonight.
It certainly will, and I mean the team that is lined out tonight for Derrygonnelly is a very young team. I suppose there's a few experienced players throughout the squad there tonight. At the same time, last year was such a long season, and as a result of that, it left it that I suppose we were late enough starting this year. Things are just I suppose trying to put things together. So it's been a strange season for us so far, but at the end of the day, I think what it also highlights is how competitive the other teams are and how much they're up for the fight every time we go out on the pitch. So I think Fermanagh football is looking good at the minute in terms of club football, in that there is such an edge to all of the games, and to each game it's very hard to call who's going to come out on top, which is a good sign.
Absolutely, and I suppose I've seen a few of the games this year. I've been fortunate to see a few of the games, and they've all been fairly close, and it is great to see that level of competitiveness. And I've no doubt we can expect that here this evening. I'll run through the teams here. Erne Gaels, 1 Brian Ryder, 2 Shane Mimna, 3 Paul Ward, 4 Ultan O'Reilly, 5 Martin Gilfeather, 6 Brian Mullen, 7 Oisin Callum, 8 Michael McGarrigle, 9 Gregory Midlone, and 1 change on the Erne Gaels team coming in at, instead of number 10, Barry McCann, we have number 18, Thomas McCaffrey. Number 11, Dan McCann. Number 12, Owen Johnson. 13, Shane Rooney. 14, Ryan Lyons. 15, Ultan Callum. Derrygonnelly team, 1, Lee Scoose. 2, Aaron Jones. 3, Tiernan Daly. 4, Michael Jones. 5, Ronan McHugh. 6, Oisin Smith. 7, Gareth McGovern. 8, Stephen McGullion. 9, Garvin Jones. 10, Conor Burns. 11, Aidan McKenna. 12, Lee Jones. 13, Stephen Gilroy. 14, Conor McGovern. And 15, Ronan McGovern. And we can just hear the noise there in the background, and it's amazing now the technology that we have here, because we're mic'd up to Martin Higgins, the referee, in the middle.
And give them the bad news this evening. Not a fucking chance for playing a Friday.
Right, away team.
You have to look after your own.
Tails, your choice. Right, switch around, boys. You know what to expect from me. Good luck.
Yeah, good luck.
All right. All right. Now, just turn around. Yeah, I think if
referee Martin Higgins, after taking the toss there, and apologies if we heard any profanities beforehand there. I'm sure it was a Freudian slip of the tongue by some of the managers. Never happened to me in my day, did it, Niall?
It never happened to me either, Maurice, thankfully. Never an issue. Again, I think the teams are turning around by the looks of things, won by the toss. So I think Erne Gaels won the toss there.
Well, the breeze is blowing up here from my right hand side from the Curlay end, and it looks as if they've opted to play with the breeze. If that
seemed to be the way that Brian was pointing there, so it'll just be interesting. And the wind will actually be a factor in the first half. I suppose we've had a few days of decent weather, and it's as was having to get used to this sort of a windy match is I suppose take a wee while for the boys to adjust, probably from the start.
Yeah, and it just looks like, you know, it could get a bit greasy too. We could have a few showers coming in there, so it could leave the surface a bit slippy as well. Just looking, you know, as to reiterate that point, you know, I'm looking at the Dergonly line out there, and we're talking about maybe them missing, but that Dergonly full back line, Aaron Jones, Tiernan Daly, and Michael Jones, like
yeah, it is. It's a very good full back line. I suppose really what you've got are the two lads, Tiernan and Michael, who have been such stalwarts for us over the last number of years, and then thrown into the mix is Aaron, who has learnt an awful lot from playing alongside these lads. But Aaron certainly making a name for himself as well. So a lot of experience in there. Even though Aaron's as young as he is, he has a lot of experience under his belt. But to play alongside the other two lads, obviously they're going to be well tested tonight when you've got Shane Rooney, Ryan Lyons and Ultan Callum listed in the full forward line. So that's a fairly difficult full forward line to come up against, and certainly a bit of pace, and it'll be all action, I would imagine.
Oh, there's no doubt about that. I would be very surprised maybe if they would line out like that. Yeah. I would imagine maybe Ultan Callum will come out the field a wee bit and probably leave the other two lads in. But
yeah, and that would appear to be the case. I mean, Ultan has been very good. Obviously, he came in the latter stages with the county team, and his role by playing deeper was very good, because he has that speed to get up the pitch, both in terms of carrying the ball, but also in terms of support. Very good at using the space. And it'll be interesting to see how he works it tonight, but he'll certainly cover a lot of the grass on the pitch here.
Oh yeah, well, I mean, there's no doubt about it. Really has been, you know, when he has been injury free, probably one of the best players in Fermanagh over the last 3 or 4 years. He's a player, you know, that seems to be on the verge of greatness all the time, and you'd love to see him, I suppose, from an Erne Gaels perspective, but also from a Fermanagh perspective, to get that injury-free run that he could really show what he can do.
And I think that, I suppose, that's where Ultan has been so unfortunate, in that he hasn't been able to get a clear run, and when he does, certainly he is something else to watch when he's going well. So if certainly from a Fermanagh perspective, it'll be great to see if he can get a run now, particularly with his club team, and put him in good stead, hopefully, for next year in terms of wearing the green and white.
Yes, I think that's something we'd all look forward to. Now, Martin Higginson's blowing his whistle here, and as you rightfully pointed out, the teams are turning round, so it looks like Erne Gaels are going to play from right to left here as we look at it in the first half, with the breeze at their backs.
Yeah, and that's going to be interesting now to see how both teams cope with the breeze. Will it be a case of the long ball for Erne Gaels in the first half? And obviously Derrygonnelly, how they manage that coming forward as well. So it'll just be an interesting first 5-10 minutes to see how everybody settles into it.
As we thought here, as I look out, Niall, I see Conor Burns immediately going to midfield.
That's right. Well,
beside Stephen McGullion.
Conor's been playing regular at junior level at midfield, and has also switched to midfield with their senior team as well. He certainly has the ability to play that position, but again, he's I think it's Michael Ogue there that he's up against, so which will be an interesting tussle. Yeah,
the Erne Gaels midfield, plenty of experience. Greg Madlone and Michael Ogue, who bust onto the scene as a 16-year-old in 2015, and you know, it'll be an interesting battle. There's a lot of interesting battles going to unfold here. I see Tiernan Daly has gone into the corner to mark Ultan Callum.
He has, yeah, and it'll be interesting to see.
Mickey Jones is picking up Shane, and
that's it. And Aaron's taking up Ryan.
Yeah.
So just be interesting to see if it stays like that.
We're ready to get underway now, and Martin Higgins throws in the ball. Stephen McGullion goes for it. Greg McGlone gathers the ball, gives it back to Brian Mullen. Brian plays it out to Martin Gilfeather. Fist pass up the wing. Played back by Owen Johnson, back to Oisín Callum. Oisín is over towards the sideline. Tommy McCaffrey has the ball. Tommy takes on his man and goes. Tommy looks to give a slip of pass to Ultan Kellam, but he's fumbled it, and Tommy regains possession. Ultan has it now. Plays it early ball in, but it's gone too far and straight into Lee Scoose. The teams will probably be probing for the first few minutes here, Niall, I would say.
The will, and again, it's all about feeling your way into the game. Obviously, each individual in terms of who they're marking, but also in terms of the conditions. So this is going to be interesting.
Conor Burns slips the ball to Gareth McGovern. Gareth plays ball across to Garvin Jones. Garvin over to Aidan McKenna. Erne Gaels. Everybody back bar two. Aidan moves out into Lee Jones. Lee goes across the field. Stephen McGullion made a run, but he didn't slip him in. Lee still in possession. And referee Martin Higgins has the hand up, so Dergonly have advantage. He's just letting the play go. Oh no, Erne Gaels turn over the ball, and here comes Ultan Kellam busting out with pace out of defence, straight up the middle. Ultan still has it. He goes over the 50, goes 40, 30. Ultan still going. Oh, and he went for goal, and great save by Lee Scoose there in the Dergonly goals. Ronan McHugh comes out with the ball. Chance for Dergonly to break here. Ronan McGovern has the ball here in front of us. He steadies, he looks at his options, he plays the ball in, early ball, but Martin Gilfeather reads it well and comes over here in front of us. And Ultan O'Reilly with a nice new hairstyle in front of us here. Gives that pass to Michael Ogue. Michael to Martin Gilfeather. Plays it across to Brian Mullen. Brian moves forward. Slips it into Dan McCann, and Dan puts Greg Madlone away, and Greg's moving forward. And Greg has, I don't know if he was going for a point, but it's a goal to Erne Gaels, a goal to Erne Gaels.
Just seemed to Lee Scouse was slightly off his line. I suppose expecting the shot over the bar, but unfortunately he sailed in, possibly with a wee bit of help from the wind there as well.
Well, it just seemed to kind of drop into the net, but a great start for Erne Gaels here after 5 minutes. A goal from Greg Madlone. Now Aidan McKenna carries the ball out of defence. Aidan with 11 on his back, but as we know, numbers mean nothing in the modern game. Inside to
it's Conor McGovern.
Conor McGovern. Conor turns. Conor shoots. Very high, dangerous ball. Brian Ryder's under it. And it breaks out.
To Ronan McGovern.
Ronan on the ground. He's been tackled by Ultan O'Reilly. He plays the ball back out to Gareth McGovern. Gareth looking across field, looking for somebody over there. And he sees Aidan McKenna. Aidan on the ball a lot in the first 5-10 minutes of this game.
Yeah, Aidan's a very busy player, always looking for the ball, always making himself available.
Ronan McHugh. Ronan plays the ball out. Conor Burns. Conor plays it to Stephen McGullion. Tiernan Daly up in attack. Drops the ball and fouls the ball on the ground. Martin Gilfeather has the ball, and he's looking at his options here. He's looking, and he plays an excellent ball out of defence over the top. And Oran Johnson has loads of space, loads of green grass in front of him here. Oran moves forward. Oran goes for the shot.
A very good score there.
And a great score there by Oran Johnson.
Yeah, basically, Erne Gaels are playing two up front, and they broke with pace. Derrygonnelly had pushed forward and left quite a lot of space in the midfield sector. Good ball out of defence to Oran, and Oran confidently puts the ball over the bar with his left.
A great ball by Martin Gilfeather there. Ball kicked out. Stephen McGullion goes for it, it's broken. Gareth McGovern in and picks it up. Gareth plays it out to Garvin Jones. Garvin moves forward looking for an option. He has to go back. Ronan McHugh. Ronan fist pass out to Gareth McGovern. Gareth back to Ronan. Ronan looks to break the tackle, and he stopped there, and the ball is overturned, and Greg Madlone comes out with the ball. It was difficult to see what happened there, but
yeah, I think it was just a good heavy challenge and forced the turnover.
Now it's with Oisín Kellam. He's been shadowed by Ronan McGovern. He flicks the ball out to Greg Madlone. Greg plays it out to Brian Mullins. Brian Mullen studies, plays it back, plays it to Ultan Callum. Ultan looks, now he's probing, he's going across the field. He has Ryan Lyons, who has come out from full forward. Ryan slips the ball out the wing to Martin Gilfeather. Martin gives a fist pass in to Ultan. Ultan Callum, he goes to ground, no foul. Slips it out to Tommy McCaffrey. Tommy plays a cross-field ball. Brian Mullen. Brian, who I suppose you could call the general of this team. Brian plays a long, hopeful shot, but it drifts to the,
I suppose
to the right and drifts wide.
Brian was trying to use the wind there to his advantage and created a bit of space for himself. Erne Gaels have plenty of options when they're on the ball. I think Derrygonnelly's just a bit slow to settle into it here.
Yeah, definitely Erne Gaels seem to have started the better. Oh, the ball's broken. Shane Rooney has the ball. And Shane, head injury here. Somebody's down.
Yeah, Stephen McGullion's down.
Stephen McGullion's down.
Took a heavy fall when he came down. Just lost his balance in the air.
Martin Higgins has stopped the play here, and rightfully so. Stephen McGullion down, and hopefully Stephen's okay.
Yeah, hopefully just bang on the head. Obviously has to take his time here. Certainly, Erne Gaels have made by far the better start after 6 minutes of the game. So obviously 1-1 up at this stage. They're making the most of their attacking options, and obviously putting a lot of men behind the ball, turning it over and hitting Derrygonnelly with pace. At the same time, I suppose at this stage they've had a couple of opportunities. I suppose they've taken 2 of them. Derrygonnelly have had a couple of shots which have just fallen short.
Ryan Lyons on the ball now. Referee Martin Higgins blows the whistle and restarts. He plays it back, plays it to Michael Ogue. Michael Ogue moves forward. Michael Ogue side foots a pass in towards Tommy McCaffrey. Is Tommy fit to stop it going out? No.
Ball's out.
The ball's out. Quick line ball there, and Lee Jones plays it to Aidan McKenna. Aidan very busy on the ball, plays it to Ronan McHugh. Ronan moves forward. Stopped by Greg Malone. Good challenge, good physical challenge by Greg. Back to Aidan McKenna. Dergonly retain possession.
Yeah, just managed to take the momentum out of the break there a wee bit. Good tackle. But Derrygonnelly now looking at their options and trying to be patient on the ball.
Conor Burns plays it back to Aidan McKenna again. A lot of ball. Tiernan Daly joins the attack. Side foots a pass out. Conor McGovern. Conor shows well for it. Marked by Paul Ward. Paul shadows him. Conor moves across the field, plays a cross-field ball back to Aidan McKenna. Aidan moves forward. Ronan McHugh is an option. He gives it to Ronan. Back to Tiernan Daly.
Again, a lot of running inside. Just possibly Derrygonnelly need to be a wee bit more direct than they are at the moment.
Yeah. And turned over again, and Erne Gaels Belleek again, and Michael Ogue has the ball, and he plays an early ball this time to Tommy McCaffrey. Tommy one-on-one with Aaron Jones. Tommy plays it inside to Ryan Lyons, and Ryan slices off the left boot and goes out wide.
That's certainly not like Ryan. He just seemed to lose his balance a wee bit when he was kicking. Obviously put it wide, but normally Ryan puts those away.
And Ultan Callum possibly was inside him there for a goal chance.
He was, yeah.
He seemed to have too much time and too many options. Caught probably in 2 minds maybe there, Niall.
I think that was probably it, and probably a couple of callers for the ball too. But certainly they're looking effective moving forward at the minute.
Brian Mullins breaks it down. Ronan McHugh picks it up, goes forward. Garvin Jones. Garvin, tall, strong man on the far side. Brian Mullins tackles him. It's a free into Dergonly out in the far bout. And it's played in early. It's played towards Ronan McGovern. Ultan O'Reilly's in there. And somebody is adjudged to have fouled the ball on the ground for Dergonly, and Erne Gaels come away with it. Oisin Callum. Oisin, who has broken into the county squad and has impressed for Erne Gaels this year.
Yeah, he's worked hard in training with Fermanagh, and certainly has good composure on the ball, never panics, and always looking for his options.
Warren Johnson plays the ball to Brian Mullen. Brian back to Oisin Callum, who has his younger brother on the outside who's making a run alongside him. And Oisin goes. Oisin's still going, and he plays the ball out to Dan McCann, and that one's not going to curl in. Erne Gaels may rue these missed chances with the breeze, Niall. That's the third wide now for Erne Gaels.
It is third wide, and obviously I think that's more or less 3 in a row there too. 1-1 in the first sort of 5 minutes. So at the end of the day, it's
bit of a scuffle going on between Mickey Jones and Shane Rooney here in front of us. I'd say.
Yeah, I think
two guys that know each other particularly well over the years.
They do. I think Shane trying to stop the short kick out there.
Take it out.
That's referee Martin Higgins coming in along with us there.
He is, yeah, giving his own commentary there. But obviously, good thinking by Martin to make them take it again rather than get into anything else. Just get on with the game.
Ball comes out and it's broken. Michael Ogue comes onto it. Michael Ogue McGarrigle, he plays an early ball in. Tommy McCaffrey, who's getting on a lot of ball. Tommy plays it to Ryan Lyons, and this time Ryan sticks it straight over the black spot from about 25 metres out, and Erne Gaels lead by 1-2 to no score.
And that's after 11 minutes. 11
minutes of the game gone. Erne Gaels playing with a rather stiff breeze blowing up from the Curlay end here. Up again, and again it's broken, but this time Aidan McKenna comes away. Good player, getting on a lot of ball for Dergonly, carrying it forward. Plays a nearly ball inside. Comes back again. It's broken out again to Aidan McKenna, and Aidan has played it out over the line, and it looks to be a line ball to Erne Gaels.
It is, yeah, another turnover ball.
The amount of ball, I suppose that is a disappointing factor for Derrygonnelly. The amount of ball that's been turned over. Erne Gaels seem to be turning a lot of ball. They have a lot of bodies back, and they're turning the ball over and transitioning quite well, because by having 1-2 on the scoreboard and 3 or 4 missed chances.
You can see that their game plan is to turn the ball over, put pressure inside their own 45, and then hit on the break.
Brian Mullen out to Dan McCann. Dan plays. Oisin Callum avoids Tiernan Daly with pace and moves forward. He moves forward menacingly, and he plays the ball out to Tommy McCaffrey. Tommy plays it back to Dan McCann, from County Minor of last year and the County Under-20 squad this year. Back to Brian Mullen. Brian plays it into Greg Madlone. Greg is, well, I was going to say he was studying his options, but he studies his options too long, according to Martin Higgins, and it's a free to Dergonly for overcarrying.
It is, yeah. It's again, it was, I suppose, looking at his options and seeing what was around him, sometimes just dwelling the ball too long.
Tiernan Daly now on the ball, receives the ball from Ronan McHugh. Tiernan moves forward. Tiernan slips it back to Ronan McHugh. Ronan runs into a bit of traffic again, and is adjudged to have been fouled by either Ryan Lyons or Dan McCann. Both tackled him there.
Yeah, I think just maybe Ronan was a wee bit lucky there to a certain extent. Again, just maybe Derrygonnelly just taking too much time on the ball. Need to move it a bit more quickly, and obviously that's all about options and options being available.
Now Stephen McGullion moves forward, and Aidan McKenna, but again that Erne Gaels defence.
Yeah, working
and
extremely hard.
Here comes Garrett McGovern, and Garrett comes forward with the ball. Garrett plays it out, and it's back out to Ronan McHugh. Ronan's looked to take the shot, but again Erne Gaels turn over the ball, and they come up the wing here quickly. It's Ryan Lyons. Ryan plays a long ball in, and this time it's great interception by Mickey Jones, and he really needed to, because if that ball had went inside, I think Tommy McCaffrey was clear. Oisin Smith clears the ball out there to Garvin Jones. Garvin moves forward. Garvin looking to inject a bit of pace, but again this Erne Gaels defence have masked and are stopping any momentum that Derrygonnelly can get going with the runners. They have to move across the field, and again Stephen McGullion, distinctive white boots, back to Aidan McKenna.
Yeah, excellent tackling again by Erne Gaels, pushing Derrygonnelly back to have to go again.
Tiernan plays Garrett McGovern, and Garrett plays it across. Aidan McKenna. Aidan plays Oisin Smith.
Yeah, Oisin kicked short there.
And Oisin just went for a shot and it dropped short to Brian Ryder. Ulton Callum comes out with it, and he plays Ryan Lyons, and Ryan plays a kick pass to Brian Mullen. Brian, confronted by 2 Dergonly men, he plays it back to Greg Madlone. Greg to Ushing out to Ultan Kellam, the brothers. And he looks to drop the shoulder, but he stood up well that time in the tackle. But Ultan still has it, and he's still going, and he's broke 2 tackles. And he's played a crossfield ball to Shane Rooney, and Shane twists and he turns, and that's an excellent score from Shane Rooney. Erne Gaels 1-3 to no score.
And that's after 15 minutes.
After 15 minutes of the game gone.
So that's 4 different scores there now for Erne Gaels. Derrygonnelly still to get their first score on the board.
It's frustrating for Dergonly at the minute. This Erne Gaels defence really well set up here.
It is, yeah. I mean, it's working for them in terms of turnover, and it's the pace that they accelerate up the pitch with, how quickly they get it up, and with the 2-man full forward line, the pace up front too.
Ronan McHugh has a man out in this wing. It's Garrett McGovern, and Garrett gathers the ball and plays it back to Mickey Jones. Mickey studying his options. Plays it back now to Aidan McKenna. Aidan slips one, but it's gone to Shane Mimna, and again Erne Gaels turn over the ball. And Ushing Kellam. Ushing plays it out to Paul Ward. Paul moves forward with the ball. Sometimes goalkeeper, sometimes full back. Paul plays it to Shane Mimna. Back with Paul Ward, and back to that man again, Brian Mullen, who seems to be at the centre of everything that's coming out of this Erne Gaels defence. He plays it back to Ushing Kellam. Ushing plays it across field to Ultan O'Reilly. Ultan moves forward with the ball and plays one out to Ryan Lyons. He's popping up on the left wing, he's popping up on the right wing, he's everywhere. He plays the ball. Ultan, the ball is turned over there by Aidan McKenna, and maybe a chance here when Erne Gaels are up the field for Dergonly to break. And the ball is played in there. Conor McGovern gathers it, and Conor injects a bit of pace. He moves forward. Paul Ward gets him stopped, but Conor shoots. And Conor, an excellent score there. And it just shows turnover ball.
Yeah, it's crucial in this game so far.
Crucial. That's
all scores more or less have come.
All the scores have come from turnover ball. That time Erne Gaels were in full flight and they were turned over, and Dergonly broke. Ronan McGovern played an excellent ball up the field to Conor McGovern, and he turned Paul Ward and slotted over a nice point from about 25 yards. It's played out here. Tiernan Daly goes for it, but it comes through. Mickey Jones gathers it. Dan McCann is in front of him. He plays it out to Conor Burns. Conor looks to inject a bit of pace. He's stopped by Greg Madlone. Slips a pass inside to Mickey Jones, and it opens up in front of him, and Conor shoots, but it just, unfortunately for Conor, it just tailed off. He hit it with the outside of the right, and you could see what he was trying to do into the breeze, but
yeah, just tailed off at the wrong time, unfortunately.
Just tailed off at the wrong
right
time.
Option. Mickey Jones put him through there, good interchange in play, and a bit more direct running from Derrygonnelly as well, which is probably what's needed. Derrygonnelly
have injected a wee bit of pace and come more into the game in the last couple of minutes.
Yeah. See them going short to Ultan there. Bit of a physical battle, one out there, and they end up.
Ultan thrown to the ground there by.
It was Ronan McGovern. Yeah, Ronan was trying to get him stopped. I suppose get to take the pace out of the move.
Dergonly 15.
And uncharacteristically, it was Ultan Kellam there. I don't know. He was going for a cross-field ball, and it was turned over, and it's inside, and that's Stephen Gilroy. And Stephen turns inside, and he should have Dergonly's second score here.
Yeah, good score from Stephen, and off his left as well. Good running, and Conor McGovern played a nice ball. Combination of pressure put on inside as well by Ronan.
Yeah, I would say Seamus Ryder will be unhappy with the last few minutes of Erne Gaels' play, because both of those scores have come from unnecessary turnover ball.
They have, and again, that was a kick out that also Erne Gaels had won, but just an uncharacteristic mistake in the defence. It
goes again short, and it's out with Michael Ogue, and Michael Ogue being shadowed by Conor McGovern. He's been held by Conor McGovern, and it's a free up the field too. It's a free up the field to Erne Gaels, and Martin Higgins looks to be approaching the Dergonly bench. And
hold on, Shane. If you want to be on the lane, you keep it shut. If you're going to talk back like that, you're not going to agree with everything I do. And vice versa. You make mistakes, I'll make mistakes. Okay. Right? Stay on the lane and keep it shut.
Okay, we've had an interesting exchange of views there. Martin Higgins having a word with Shane Ward.
But again, very sensible by Martin too,
Yeah.
I suppose. You know, the one thing he doesn't make a big scene about
No,
things.
he doesn't. He's a common sense referee. And the ball play back here, Martin Gilfeather. And Erne Gaels will be looking to get a foothold in the game again after those 2 scores from Dergonly, which have brought them back into the game.
That's it, and after 20 minutes, I suppose Derrygonnelly needed those 2 scores to sort of balance things out a bit. But
and Dergonly be quite happy, I would say, with that, because Oisin plays a ball out and a great tackle there by Garner, but it comes back. Shane Rooney here. Shane plays it to Oisin Kellam, and Oisin's going to play one in.
It's good effort.
And it's a good... Oh, it's dropped with Ryan Lyons. It's dropped with Ryan Lyons and Erne Gaels. Well, it ended up with Lee Scoose, and after all of that, it's a free out. Erne Gaels were looking for a foot block there, but...
I think Tiernan Daly showed all his experience there by throwing himself in front of the ball. I know there seems to be a bit of a disagreement whether it was a penalty or a free out.
Somebody on the ground.
Never a penalty, not a chance. You must be joking.
And I think Martin has hit the nail in the head there by the sounds of it.
Contact sport, Ryan.
Martin, as usual, talking to the players in that no-nonsense manner that he does, and
it probably would have been a harsh penalty, and I mean,
probably
yeah,
would.
It would have been chilly, but Tiernan actually did very well, because it was a difficult ball fell into Ryan's hands, and Ryan on his left is usually very accurate. So Tiernan did well to stand up and I suppose cause him an issue.
Ryan, the man whose last-minute goal won the intermediate championship for Erne Gaels last year.
It did, surely, and I mean, it was. I think that's been a catalyst for Erne Gaels this year. There's no doubt about that. I think it has certainly helped them in terms of what their form for this year.
Lee Scoose plays it out to Oisin Smith. Oisin, shadowed by Shane Rooney, moves across the field, strides across the field and plays a fist pass to Conor Burns. Conor gathers the ball, and Dergonly definitely coming more into this game now. Mickey spun round, but it's a free, but Dergonly have the advantage, and Conor moves forward. Ronan looks up and dummies and moves inside. He's going to take a shot. It hits the upright, and Brian Mullen is there to gather up. Ronan unfortunate there.
Yeah, he was very unfortunate, and it was right to have a goal as well.
Yeah, it just tailed away, and Brian Mullen fortunate there too. Maybe they might have thought he might have overcarried, but Alton O'Reilly comes out of defence, and here comes Martin Gilfeather up the field. No one coming to him at the minute, and he plays the ball out the wing to Oran Johnson. Oran, who scored the first point for Erne Gaels, moves across the field, plays a cross-field ball, good ball to Greg McLone. Greg now, the wall of Dergonly men in front of him, Garvin Jones, and Garvin overturns him. And it's turnover ball.
He got in ahead of you.
And this is Garvin's first game in a wee while, and that's what Garvin does. He turns over ball, he works very hard off the ball, makes life very difficult for the opposition.
Lee moves forward, very intelligent player, Lee Jones.
This is
Lee moving forward, and he's still going, and Lee is still going through, but he's turned over. Maybe just took a wee bit too much, or hadn't a bit of support there with him. Alton Callum comes out of defence, he drops the shoulder, and he's gone, and he plays Ryan Lyons. Ryan up the Ryan fumbles the ball, and the ball comes to Garrett McGovern, and Dergonly starting to get the grips with Erne Gaels when foul here in front of us. Tiernan Daly fouled, and he plays a quick one to Stephen McGullion. Stephen moves forward, and he plays a cross-field ball looking for Stephen Gilroy.
Again, it's a good fast pace of a game, and helps out when Martin lets things go like that.
Martin, I have to say, he definitely, there's no doubt about it, he lets the play flow, and has great communication, as is evident here tonight with the players.
There's no doubt about that.
Explaining his decisions, and there's a ball back now to Stephen McGullion. Stephen plays right foot of pass out to Ronan McGovern. Ronan's faced by Brian Mullen, and he goes with the left foot. It's it's a dangerous ball, and it's in there round the square, and it's come out, and Conor Burns has it, and Conor plays it back in, and it's gone over the bar.
It's a good score by Connor. Good anticipation of the ball coming down. Again, Derrygonnelly have sort of started to find their stride a wee bit here. Obviously, the goal's still a difference, but certainly in the last sort of 5-10 minutes, they've, I suppose, dominated the game that bit more, which has made a difference.
The one thing too that seems to have died a wee bit here is the breeze. As I look at the trees over here on the far side,
it has, yeah. And again, though I think Erne Gaels to a certain extent have dropped off their pace. And I suppose Derrygonnelly have been fighting a bit harder for the ball too, which has made a bit of a difference.
It's a free over there on the far side. Ryan Lyons fouled over on the far side. Ultan O'Reilly. Ultan plays a ball to Brian Mullen. Brian looks to go through the gap. 3 Derrygonnelly men, but he slips the ball to Shane Mimna. Shane, former county minor captain, plays the ball to Ultan Callum. Ultan looked to have got an accidental clash in the face there, and went down, but he got the ball away. Greg McGlone. Greg, fortunate there, he got the ball away to Shane Mimna. Shane plays the ball into Dan McCann. Dan, who turns. Ball slips away from him momentarily, but he gets it out to Martin Kilfeather. Martin back to Greg McGlone. Greg plays the ball back to Paul Ward. Paul plays it out to the sideline here in front of us. Ultan O'Reilly. Ultan gives a hand pass to Oisin Callum. Oisin goes to ground but manages to hold possession. Ultan O'Reilly plays it to his full back, Paul Ward. Paul now plays it to Michael Ogue. Michael Ogue McGarrigle. Derrygonnelly with everybody behind the ball here. Haven't left anyone up at all.
Yeah, and again, Erne Gaels been very patient with it here, going through the hands.
Yeah, just going through as they say, the phases is the buzzword. Is
That's
that the buzzword?
That's it, recycle.
Recycle.
And the patience.
And Ultan O'Reilly plays it back to Michael Ogue. Michael Ogue moves cross field. Looks to go forward, faced by a wall of Dergonly men. Greg McGlone. Greg plays it back to Shane Mimna. Greg McGlone again. Turns, twists. Gives one foot. Back out to Shane Mimna. And Brian Mullen. Brian has the ball now, and it's kind of a case nobody really wants to make a mistake here.
Yeah, I suppose you can see Erne Gaels are trying to pull Derrygonnelly up the pitch a bit to create space in behind.
And Tommy McCaffrey. Tommy, very pacey player, and really an unnecessary foul there, I would say, from Ronan McGovern.
Yeah, I think Ronan obviously had spotted the break and I suppose tried to go for the ball but just mistimed his challenge, unfortunately.
So it's a free here now, right in front of us, about 10-15 metres in.
He didn't mean to do an end of. You have the free, just get rid of it.
But he was moving there.
Again, I must say it gives a great insight to hear Martin explaining these decisions to the players.
It does, and also to hear the players coming back, so you sort of know what they're at him about, which is interesting too. But
Ultan takes it short and plays it to Michael Ogue. Michael thought about a shot. Greg McGlone takes a shot. It's curling, but no, it's not going to make it.
Again, a bit of a snatch at it there by Greg, which isn't like him. But at the same time, I suppose before this, Erne Gaels showed brilliant patience, and I suppose Tom McCaffrey made that great run just to break the line, and it nearly worked.
Well, it's kind of been a half of two halves. Dergonly have come back into it, and a fine catch there by Stephen McGullion, and Stephen plays the ball forward, and Mickey Jones is breaking up the field, and Ultan O'Reilly, a good tackle by Ultan. And Ultan comes out with the ball and gives it to Shane Rooney back in his own half-back line, plays it to Michael Ogue. Mickey Jones gets a toe in. Oh, and well, it's a Derrygonnelly ball, but I thought Mickey Jones had got his toe to that.
My glasses just steamed up just before that. Morris, I didn't see it.
Maybe I was looking at that one with my Erne Gaels hat. But anyway, we're not going to change it. And Aidan McKenna takes it to Garrett McGovern, and Garrett carries it forward. Dergonly definitely have come back into this game in a big way, and there's only 3 points between the teams now as Tiernan Dearly moves forward. Tiernan going over towards the far sideline, and he slips the tackle and looks to play an early ball in, but it's cut out in there by Oisin Callum, and he plays it back to his goalkeeper Brian Ryder. Brian sees a ball to Michael Ogue, who's free out under this wing here, and he plays it to Brian Mullen. Brian studies his options and then moves forward, looks cross field. He has two options over there. One of them is Ulton Kellam. And then we have Ryan Lyons. Ryan on the ball over beside the dugout, and he plays the ball back to Brian Mullen. Brian looks up to see is anybody available, plays it across here to Michael Ogue. Couple of runners on this wing. Oisin Callum in front of us here, crosses the 45. Moves across, plays it back out to Dan McCann. Dan's going to have a go.
Yeah.
And drifted. And Derrygonnelly be quite happy.
They will with that.
yeah.
Just we're coming into injury time now, so actually Derrygonnelly will be more than happy with that. And I suppose maybe just again Dan just snatched that. Didn't really hit it with much conviction. Oisin Callum's getting on a serious amount of ball at the moment.
Ball out to Mickey Jones. Mickey, who has come into this game in a big way. Mickey plays it to Oisin Smith. Oisin plays it to Garrett McGovern. Garrett Donegal. Derrygonnelly starting to really get the runners on here, and has played to Conor Burns, and Conor looks to slip in Rona McHugh, but a good and it's slipped, and it's Martin Gilfeather comes out with it, and he plays it back to Brian Ryder, who plays it out to Ulton O'Reilly. Ulton being tackled, and that's the end of the action here for the first half.
That looks
in
good.
Páirc na hEirne. And Erne Gaels lead by 1-3 to 3 points. A lead that they raced into after 15 minutes of this game, but having not scored for the last 15 minutes, and Derrygonnelly really coming back into it. It definitely was a half of two halves now.
There's no doubt about that, and you could see it took Derrygonnelly some time to adjust to the way that Erne Gaels were set up in terms of their defensive system and hitting Derrygonnelly on the break. I suppose Derrygonnelly sort of, as a result of coming to terms with it, kicked 3 unanswered points, I think it was, in the end up. So it has set them up now for the second half. The goal obviously had a bit of luck to it, and obviously now the breeze seems to have dropped again, so it won't maybe be as big a factor in the second half, but certainly it's a good game. It's fast, a lot of running. One thing I would say is there's been quite a lot of turnovers by both teams. Derrygonnelly certainly in the first 15 minutes, probably far too many for their liking, which created a lot of scores, and actually a lot of the scores are coming from turnovers as opposed to winning kickouts. Which is an interesting pattern as well. But again, I think it highlights the intensity of the tackling when teams are coming forward.
Oh, there's no doubt about it. Two very, very well matched teams, as evident, and that's what turnovers really will come from when you have defences as good as what both of these defences are set up. Derrygonnelly took a while to get to grips with the game. There's no doubt about it. But when they did, they had their period where they had their turnovers, and that's where there a couple of scores came out of. And I'm just looking down here to my right hand side, I'd have no doubt that Dergonly be quite happy probably with the situation that they're in at half time.
They will to a certain extent, but at the same time there's still a goal behind, and a goal against Erne Gaels, who are playing very well defensively and not giving an awful lot away, is going to be a major factor possibly in the second half. So those major scores are in a game as tight as this are going to make a big difference. So I think from Derrygonnelly's point of view, I think you could find that a goal is going to be crucial to them in the second half. So I suppose we'll just have to see just how I suppose Derrygonnelly set up in the second half. Again, I think they've got their setup sorted out in terms of defensively, but obviously going forward, their full forward line, two of the lads, Stephen and Conor, have both scored. Conor Burns coming up with the third. In terms of Erne Gaels, again they had their opportunity, and I suppose Ryan Lyons in particular had a very good chance towards the end with a good save from Tiernan Daly. I suppose hopefully from a Derrygonnelly point of view that could be a crucial save when it comes to the end of the game.
Yes, Lee Scoose actually made two good saves in that half.
He did, yeah. And Lee's coming into this game. Jack's not available tonight, so Lee's coming into the game. A fair bit of experience with Lee as well, but he's had to, I suppose, sit on the bench now for most of the season. Has played a lot of junior football, and I suppose coming into this game, just been thrown into it was a big ask, but one that Lee's able to cope with so far. Again, I would feel that the goal possibly came from just the wind at the time, which was an unfortunate start for him, but at the same time he settled into it and has done well.
Yes, and indeed Brian Ryder in the Erne Gaels goals, his kick-outs, seemed to be getting his kick-outs away well there. He seemed to be picking out his men a lot of the time.
Yeah,
Crucial position now in the modern game.
It
the
is.
The goalkeeper. I mean, you know, we see evidence with all these county keepers now. They're nearly becoming like keeper sweepers.
They are,
your views on this?
I think the two lads that are in goals tonight, I don't think we'll see them end up on the opposition 14-yard line, mind you. But at the same time, it's a situation where you know, the keeper thing is changing. Sometimes you feel that it's gone a wee bit too far. Certainly in some of the games, if a keeper is capable out the pitch, which Armagh proved. You know, I think it can be very effective, particularly up against a mass defence, to have the extra man coming through. Obviously, we saw, you know, in some situations at the county level where the ball was turned over and teams weren't able to get back because they were chasing the game and the keeper was out of position. So it's the risk you take, but sometimes you have to do that when you're behind.
Yeah, I suppose it's a debate we hear a lot of pundits on about. As we wait here for the two teams. This is Maurice McLaughlin here in Páirc na hEirne along with Niall Smith. This game brought to you this evening by Monaghan Brothers, great sponsors of Fermanagh GAA and the league itself, sponsored, as I see, by the Westville, the Cassidy Brothers as well, great sponsors. And in the GAA, you know, we need people like that. We need sponsors, and it's important not to forget them.
Absolutely, and I mean it takes everybody's involvement to really make the county tick, and I think we all appreciate what businesses are putting into our local club scene in particular, and obviously then at county level. So obviously going forward, I know with Club Erne and that they've big plans in terms of fundraising, and a lot of hard work going on there too. With obviously the draw that's coming up, I think we're going to need it all, but at the same time, when you see teams developing, and you know yourself, Maurice, you're with the under-20s and the work that's been put in there in terms of development, I think, you know, sometimes we get criticism about development squads. On the other hand, I think if we don't do it right, that this is where sponsorship is so useful to us to help us to do it right. I think when the work's put in, you can see a difference, and going forward, I think it's the only way we can move the county forward is by putting our resources in at the right levels.
I absolutely couldn't agree more, Niall, with that, and it's conversations we, yourself and myself, often when I had at other times. But definitely a lot of good work being done, in Club Erne, and a lot of good work being done by a lot of people behind the scenes. And one of those people, I suppose, is our county treasurer, Sean Burns, and our thoughts are with him at this time. Sad time, his mother passed away there at the weekend, and our thoughts are with the Burns family at the minute, and Sean, you know, a man whose phone is open to everybody up till 12:30 at night.
I don't think I've ever met as patient a man as Sean now, I have to say. I'm sure some of the phone calls he gets, but he's always so obliging and is always there to help. And again, his mum's passing, I think we all send our sympathies to Sean.
Another man I was glad to see here tonight after, you know, battling illness is John Murphy from Dergonly, the referee, and I had a brief conversation with him there beforehand, and great to see that, you know, he's on the mend and has a great positive attitude, and we wish him well and a speedy recovery.
John's a great club man, so he is, and in terms of the refereeing, he has certainly grasped that and had been making great strides in terms of his development as a referee, and certainly at inter-county level at underage. He has done an awful lot of work in terms of refereeing at inter-county matches, and John's only out for a wee while in terms of his refereeing, and hopefully we'll see him back in the middle of the pitch, and possibly with a microphone on him like Martin is tonight.
Well, hopefully, and indeed we do wish him a speedy recovery. Big crowd here this evening, Niall. Great interest in this game in Páirc na hEirne. As I look round me here, I see all the stalwarts. I see Gabriel Ferguson up there. I think he's is he in St Patrick's, or is he going to go down to say a prayer for the second half?
Yeah, it could well
for his beloved Erne Gaels.
That's it. It's again for a Wednesday evening as well. Not the easiest evening to get out because there's always so many other things on, and the time of year that it is, it's great to see such a crowd out. But again, we're seeing that quite a bit at club level at the moment, and I think the reason for that is because a lot of the matches are competitive and people are watching and are enjoying the matches because matches are so close at times. I think it keeps everybody on the edge of their seat and hopefully giving everybody value for money.
I'm going to throw another curveball at you here now when we're filling in the half-time split season. And I suppose with both of our involvement maybe at county level, but what's your opinion on the split season?
I suppose it's taken a wee while to adjust to it, and I suppose for everybody to adjust to it. And I suppose once we get to get used to it, I think it's probably a good thing in a lot of ways. I suppose it's a situation where, certainly for inter-county players, it gives them an opportunity to, I suppose, they put everything in. I mean, it's such a commitment nowadays. It's 7 days a week, and practically 52 weeks of the year. So I think the split season possibly works in the county players' favour. I think for the clubs, just trying to adjust to it. At the same time, you're looking at club football in Fermanagh. We had the club competition, and then we're down to the 8 rounds of the of the league, or the 9 rounds, I should say. Then on top of that, you're going to have the county championship, or it's going to be a league basis as well. And I suppose that's a good thing, because I think one round of league fixtures, 9, it doesn't really give you much chance to catch up if you're behind at the start. And particularly where some county players are coming back into play, either they're recovering from injuries or else settling into the county or your club scene again. It does take teams time to adjust, and sometimes maybe the way things are set up at the minute, it takes time. But hopefully, as it beds in, all teams, both club and county, will adjust to it, and I suppose reap its benefits, hopefully, going forward.
I suppose it's like all arguments, there are pros and cons. Listening to a lot of the pundits, and I'm hearing a lot of talk, about we'll take the Tyrone players there, or players that have gone out of the championship and they've gone to America, and as young men and they have lives, and it's a great opportunity for them to experience that and maybe to travel. Probably not so good for their clubs.
It's not, and I mean that's where the balance has to be brought in. And I suppose what some of the local players are doing, they've headed off to America and just for the 2 months and hoping to be home for the club championship come September. And I suppose that's a good thing. These guys, I suppose, they have to live too, and I think hopefully it'll prolong their club and county careers, because I think a lot of guys sometimes maybe get frustrated at, I suppose, not being able to live their lives to the full by, I suppose, going seeing the world and whatever else they'd like to do. But it's just, as I say, getting that balance. Again, I suppose for clubs, where county players do head off, in a lot of ways too, the league gives you a chance to develop players. I mean, you can see it with the Harps here tonight in terms of how young they are, quite a lot of them, and playing at this level. I think the Erne Gaels team tonight, apart from maybe 1 or 2, are more or less at full strength, and this is great for the Derrygonnelly boys in terms of development, but obviously sometimes that can work against you too, because if you're not getting the results, it means you're not in the heat of the busy end of the season when it comes down to it.
Yes, well, Martin Higgins just getting ready to start here now, getting ready to throw the ball in as we're getting ready to start the second half here in Páirc na hEirne. As I said, this game brought to you on Fermanagh TV by Monaghan Brothers. The score here as we get to start the second half: Erne Gaels 1-3, Dergonly 3 points. Martin looks at his watch and he throws up the ball, and Conor Burns moves forward and ball inside to Ronan McGovern. Ronan marked by Ulton O'Reilly, and he looks to go round him. He stopped there and he plays it back out to Garvin Jones, and Garvin swings with the left boot and it sails over the black spot.
That's Garvin's left foot. Again, you can see the difference if you win your throw up and break it at speed. It was difficult for Erne Gaels to get back into their defensive formation.
Absolutely, a few of the county teams showed that this year with scores coming from the throw-ups.
We can see that going with the bunch here, start of the second half.
Brian kicks. He kicks long towards the middle, it's towards Brian Mullen. Brian breaks the ball. Michael O goes out there, but is gathered up by Stephen McGullion. Derrygonnelly have made a good start to the second half on the front foot here, and Stephen plays it in, and he plays it to Lee Jones. Lee looks up and he plays, and an excellent score from Lee Jones. Out on the right wing with his right foot from 20 yards out. Very underrated player.
He is
Lee
very
Jones.
much so. His work rate is unreal. And actually for most of this season he's been playing at 6 at centre half back and very much in a free role. At the same time he's working extremely hard here, and it's a good battle between him and
Brian.
Kelly.
Brian gets the short kick out away and gets it away to Ulton. Ulton Callum plays it out the far wing, out to Brian Mullen. Brian carries the ball up. Brian still going, goes in the Dergonly half and plays the ball over there to Dan McCann. Dan plays it back to Greg Madlone. Greg steps inside, looks up, takes a solo, looks across, moves across field. There's a wall of Dergonly men, but he slips the tackle and he gets inside and he plays it inside to Tommy McCaffrey. Tommy plays it to Ryan Lyons. He plays it across to Dan McCann. Dan plays it back out. And it's played out here to Brian Mullen, and he has Shane Mimna on this wing, and Shane moves up. And he's looking at a wall of Dergonly men in front of him again, but the ball is played in, and Oisín Kellam is through here. He's through, and he slips the ball over the bar, and an excellent score there for Erne Gaels.
Yeah, well worked actually. Good ball played in there, and Oisín just drifted off his marker and into space. Actually, was a goal chance if possibly, but maybe took the sensible option.
Erne Gaels' first score since the 15th minute.
It is about that, all right, you know. So
and it's out, and Michael O goes up and it's broken. Michael O gathers it and it's out to Martin Gilfeather, and Martin plays it to Greg, who slips it to Brian Mullen, and Brian injecting a bit of pace here. And Ryan Lyons, and Ryan goes for an ambitious shot from 45, and it goes straight between the posts.
That's Ryan's second score of the game.
Erne Gaels scored 2 points within a minute there and restore their 3-point lead. And we have about 5 minutes, 5 minutes of the second half gone here in Páirc na hEirne. Kick out from Lee Scoose, and they all go up for it, but it's Ryan Lyons who picks up the break, and he plays a ball into Dan McCann. Dan, an exciting young footballer, seeing a lot of ball here this evening, and he plays it back out, plays it to Martin Gilfeather, and he plays Oisín Kellam, and Oisín looks now to inject some pace, but he gets patient, and he's looking for the inside ball. They're looking for Tommy McCaffrey, and Tommy drops the shoulder and away he goes. He's tackled, but he has retained possession. Oh, he's fouled the ball on the ground, and it's a free out to Dergonly.
Again, the last two scores, I think, for Erne Gaels came from Derrygonnelly kick-outs, so obviously it's a change of format from the first half where it was mainly turnovers.
Garrett McGovern plays it up, Michael O gathers the ball, and Erne Gaels seem to have injected a little bit of pace and seem to have come back more into the game now. It's almost...
Yeah, they seem to have woken out of their slumber.
Woken out of their slumber is how you describe it, all right, Niall.
Yeah, I think those 2 points in response to the Harps 2 points have sort of created this. The key thing for them now is, are they able to keep this going?
And Ryan patient on the ball, and he gives it to Martin Gilfeather. And Martin looks to play one in, and it's gone to Mickey Jones, and he's spotted Ronan McGovern, and Ronan has pace, and Ronan goes up the wing, but Brian Mullen goes across. Martin Gilfeather, Martin done well there. He tracked back after playing that pass away. Great play there from Martin Gilfeather.
He got back very well, and he needed to, because Garvin Jones was coming in.
Another very underrated player, great servant to Erne Gaels down through the years, Martin Gilfeather. Paul Ward plays the ball out to Shane Mimna. Here comes Ryan Lyons, who's all over the place this evening. And Ryan hops the ball.
I think that was a cute one there by Ryan. He knew what he was doing.
I've often seen Martin give those the other way. Now, I have to say, even with my Erne Gaels hat on...
Let's say he slipped there.
Ryan used all his experience there. Ryan on the ball. He plays it back to Shane Mimna. Shane Mimna moves forward. Greg Madlone gives him an option. Erne Gaels really now come back into the game. Those two scores have given them a bit of life. And Oisín Kellam moves forward. Oisín looks to, he's probing, moving forward, looking for an option. He turns back inside, and Ulton O'Reilly is there, cornerback Ulton. Ulton is tackled by Ronan McGovern. And he plays a crossfield ball to Paul Ward. And now Martin Gilfeather moves forward. Michael Ogue is to the right of him, and he plays it back to Martin Gilfeather. And Martin plays a long, hopeful, and Lee Scoosh fortunate there. Lee
was brave there now when he went down for the ball. I have to say.
Hold on, he was clearly down. The yellow card all day long.
Fair enough.
Name?
Owen Johnson.
Owen Johnson.
Again?
Sorry.
Owen Johnson been booked here by Martin Higgins, and in no uncertain terms he's told him why he's booking him.
Yeah, and to be fair to Owen, he took it on the chin there too, which is typical Owen, to be honest.
Owen, another exciting young player.
Yeah, and a hard worker too.
Hard worker, yeah. Dual player as well, playing with the Erne Gaels hurling team, as a lot of these Erne Gaels lads now. I know they've revived hurling here in Belleek.
Yeah, again, which is good to see.
Aidan McKenna back, taking the ball from his goalie, carries the ball up the field, up the far side, and there's a bit of a tussle going on here in front of us. I look to my right hand side, Mickey Jones and Shane Rooney getting to know each other well again.
Yeah.
The ball playing, it looks like the ball may win there. No. Ulton wins the ball and he gives it. Martin Gilfeather out to that man again, Brian Mullen. Oisin Kellam. Oisin plays the ball back, plays it to Brian Mullen. Brian on that far side. Dan McCann, who's getting on quite a lot of ball here tonight, plays it back to Greg McLone. Greg fist passed out to Michael Og McGarrigle. Michael moves forward, turns back inside. Greg McLone plays a cross-field ball to Martin Gilfeather. A lot of space in front of him here. Player down injured in front of us. He plays a little pop pass inside. Dan McCann. Dan plays it out to Oisin Kellam. Oisin moves cross-field, and there goes Ulton on the overlap. And can he get... He goes round his man, and Ulton's bearing down on goal. And that's an excellent score. The two Kellam brothers. It was a lovely little pop pass inside, and Dan McCann gathered it. Oisin Kellam moved cross-field, and Ulton on the overlap went round the side, cut inside, and indeed might have had a goal chance there.
He could if he'd have cut inside, but maybe just on his wrong side for doing that. He certainly, his speed made the difference there, and they end up being able to take his man and go round him.
Erne Gaels with the last 3 scores, pushing the back there. Martin Higgins giving a free to Derrygonnelly. Erne Gaels really got a foothold in the game now, Niall.
They have, yeah. I mean, they've gone 4 up now at this stage, and it's a bigger hill.
11 minutes gone. In the second half here in Páirc na hEirne, as Oisin Smith moves forward, gives the ball out to Ronan McHugh, and he's met by Oran Johnson. And Oran shadows him, Oran Johnson, and it's given out to
Stephen Gilroy,
and he plays it back to Ronan McGovern. Ronan looks to play a cross-field ball, and there's Aidan McKenna again. That man, I'd say, has touched the ball more times than any other Dergonly man tonight. Tiernan Daly breaks the line, and he plays a high probing ball in, and well gathered in there by Ryan Lyons, the full forward.
That's it. He's up and down the pitch.
He really has been everywhere here tonight,
which is typical of Ryan's game, to be honest.
Yeah.
That's how he plays well.
And he plays it inside to Shane Mimna, and plays a ball out here. Oran Johnson out, no one near him as he moves forward here. Ronan McHugh has gone with the runner. Shane Mimna has ran down the wing. It's given back to Michael Og McGarrigle. Michael Og gives it back into Oran Johnson, faced by Stephen McGullion, but he plays it cross-field to Oisin Kellam. Oisin doing a lot of work here tonight, and he looks to get Ulton in again, but Lee Jones is intercepted, and Dergonly have a chance here on the transition. They're moving forward. Lee moves up the field, but I
think I was making sure that the move didn't build.
It's Brian Mullen, and a tick there from, and Brian probably could consider himself rather fortunate there. Not they've got a card.
Happy enough to take that now, Brian, too. Well.
Yeah.
And again, using his head probably.
And it's played into Ronan McHugh. Ronan twists, he turns, he gives it back to Stephen Gilroy, who gives it out to Stephen McGullion, who plays a shot in. and that's gone over the bar.
Good score by Stephen.
Yeah, Dergonly needed that one.
They did, yeah, because they haven't scored since the first couple of minutes now, and obviously as the game's progressing, I think it's on about 10 minutes maybe at this stage. So it leaves you that, I suppose, just lets us settle back into it again, just the goal in it, back to where we were at half time.
And the ball comes here in front of us. Ronan McHugh gathers it and wins a free. And there's Garvin Jones again, and Garvin kicks an excellent score again. Second point of this half for Garvin, and Dergonly with 2 scores there in quick succession.
Yeah, and that's the way it seems to be going in this half. Both teams getting 2 points in a row fairly quickly at the start of the half, and now here we go again.
Two very evenly matched teams.
It is, yeah. The goal's the difference.
Yeah, the goal's the difference, and they're cancelling each other out and mirroring each other. But Brian wins the break there, facing his own goal, and he plays it out to Ulton O'Reilly, and Ulton moves forward, drops the shoulder, drops the ball as well. Can he retain possession? No, it's turned over. And here's Garvin Jones again, and Garvin plays probing ball forward, and there's Mickey Jones up in the forward line. Mickey moves cross field. Michael O'Mcgarrigle goes with him, and Stephen Gilroy on the ball. Back out to Garvin Jones. Garvin moves inside, and Tiernan Daly. Tiernan gives a fist pass inside to Mickey Jones, and Tiernan goes again, and he slips the ball outside, and that's Conor McGovern.
Yeah, it was a cheap free to give away by Paul Ward there, actually.
Jersey was being stretched. Way back. I have the arm up, Brian. Brian, arm is up.
And
I think Brian just questioning the decision there, but again it was direct running, and the combination of the two of Derrygonnelly's full back line and experience there as well in terms of Tiernan and Mickey to pull that one through, but then Youth managed to win the free.
When both teams stop the little bit of chess and inject that bit of pace into it, there comes some of the scores are coming out of that too now.
There is, yeah, there's no doubt about that. And again, the good thing is majority of scores are coming from play as well. Yeah. Very few from frees. I think maybe that's the first of, certainly it might even be of the game at this stage.
So the minimum between the teams here as we move into the 14th minute. Ball played out. He's getting those kickouts away well.
He is, yeah, he's going short with most of them.
Callum goes up the wing and he injects pace, and he leaves 2 men in his wake. Another Dergonly man comes over to tackle him, but he gets the ball away, and it's back with Ulton Callum again, and he plays the ball back. Tommy McCaffrey, Tommy plays it inside to Greg Madlone. Greg moves forward, and Greg goes, and Greg kicks an excellent score.
Yeah, that's another score for Greg.
Yeah.
He obviously got the goal at the start, and then that's a good point for him there.
But it just shows again, Ulton Callum took on his men, went up the wing, created the score, injected that bit of pace.
He took it from just inside or just outside the Erne Gaels 21-yard line as well.
And Erne Gaels and Greg's on the ball again, and Dan McCann, and Dan plays an early one in this time, and it's Ryan Lyons in the full forward position, and Ryan kicks an excellent score. That's a super score.
There's 3 points for Ryan now at this stage.
3 points for Ryan, and Erne Gaels go 3 points clear again. We're seeing some excellent score taken here this evening. You know, Garvin Jones, Ryan Lyons, and Oran Johnson gets the break, and Erne Gaels have the advantage. And Oisin looks for the early ball inside, and Brian Mullen, and Brian goes to flick it, but what Mickey Jones, and you wouldn't have expected anything else.
Yeah.
Excellent defensive play from Mickey Jones.
Yeah, I think that what happened was Shane grabbed the ball out of his arms, which he can't do.
Out of Mickey's hands. He had it. Hold on, Shane. Hold on. Shane, he had it in 2 hands. If he has it in one, you can take it. He had it in 2.
And again, you know, for the benefit of our listeners, and you know, I have to give credit to the man behind us here, Phil Flanagan, for miking up Martin Higgins here tonight, because you probably couldn't mic up a better man the way he's explaining these decisions to the players, and it's leaving them under no doubt.
It is, yeah, and it's even for the player, like just particularly younger players. I think it's very important.
and speaking to everyone with respect.
That's it, and that's what it's all about.
That's what it's all about. Conor McGovern now. Conor has the ball. Conor, who's got a couple of excellent scores here tonight, and he plays it out to that man Garvin Jones, and Garvin kicks it with the outside the left foot. It's a dangerous ball. It's in round, and Stephen McGullion has it, and it's saved. Is it saved? Oh.
That was unreal. That could have went anywhere there, didn't it? Stephen actually did very well there to catch the ball and turn and shoot in a tight situation. But good save by the keeper.
Brian Ryder managed to get that one clawed clear, and Erne Gaels come away with the ball. Ultan O'Reilly. Ultan stopped on the far side, and it looks like he could be. Yes, he's been turned over. Yeah, good tackling from Dergonly, and
again a bit of experience between Tiernan and Lee there.
Yeah.
But certainly
Conor Burns. Conor plays a long cross-field ball over here. It's a race between Ultan O'Reilly, but the ball wins the battle, and this time it's an Erne Gaels line out, and Brian Mullen comes away with the ball. Great pace to this game now. And Brian has carried it about 30 yards there, and mix up between two Erne Gaels men, and Derrygonnelly come away with the ball. Turnover ball again is Stephen McGullion, and Stephen plays it out to Garvin Jones. Garvin very influential in this second half with 3 scores, and he plays it to Stephen McGullion.
It's good tackling by Ultan.
Good tackling by Ultan O'Reilly there, tenacious tackling, and almost turned it over. Conor goes for a score, and unfortunately for Conor, that one drifted to the right and wide.
Again, was off his left. He can strike a ball very well off both feet, actually.
Off his left. I seen him playing for St Michael's against St Pat's of Cavan, and scoring 4 points that day, scoring with both feet. Excellent young player, and a great prospect for the future, Niall.
Okay, he's hungry to play as well, which is a good sign, you know.
Ball comes out here, and Ryan Lyons' flick of such an intelligent flick. And Michael Ogue puts it's Oren Johnson, and Erne Gaels, Shane Rooney, and Shane fires to the net. Excellent goal there from Erne Gaels. Really good movement. Moved the ball quickly through the hands, but
yeah, it was the breaking ball.
It was the flick.
It was the flick, and intelligent. But the great thing was that somebody anticipated the ball as well, and that I think is a crucial score in this game. When you think Derrygonnelly could have had a goal there a couple of minutes ago.
Yeah, and Erne Gaels looking to win the break here, but Derrygonnelly have it. And it's getting difficult to see over there on the far side as the sun starts to set.
Yes, Lee Jones coming up the wing.
Lee Jones, yeah. Lee plays Oisin Smith. Oisin tackled by Ryan Lyons. Bit of cuteness there, a bit of experience again maybe by Ryan.
Yeah, I think experience against inexperience to a certain extent. I think that's just typical Ryan of his work rate and everything that he gives, and he's making a bit of a difference there at the minute.
Dan McCann, and Dan plays it out here to Oren Johnson, and Oren plays a ball into Shane Rooney, the goal scorer, and Shane turns and very unshane, like he snatched at that one, and it goes well wide.
Yeah, a wee bit of composure there, and obviously off his left, Shane's lethal. So I suppose he was right to have a go. There's no doubt about that. But maybe snatched at it.
Crucial period of this game now. Niall, Erne Gaels have to go into a 6-point lead, and we're going into the last quarter of the game. They're going to be looking to get back into this one.
Well, it was I suppose as I said at half time, a goal is crucial in this game. And now to be 6 points down after being only a point behind not that long ago, it's a big it's a bit of a tough one for the Harps here to have turned around now at this stage.
Great catch there, great bit of fielding by Conor Burns, and Conor looks up and he plays a ball, and Ronan McGovern has peeled away to this side, and he's marked now Ben McCann, who has come on. Ben replacing Ultan O'Reilly wearing number 17, and Conor Burns, unfortunately for Conor, he kind of snatched at that one, but he really had to as the block was coming in.
He did, yeah, and I mean he started the move by catching the kick out in the first place and followed up with his run. Probably deserved a point from his work rate. Both teams are now starting to make a few changes. Obviously, we're at that stage of the game where boys are starting to tire a wee bit.
Brian McKenna, number 25, been introduced there. Brian, who was in the under 20 squad last year, and I know he's a young player who you have high hopes for in Dergonly.
Oh yes, and Brian's come on well now over the last 12 months. He's just come on for Ronan McHugh. Brian's slotted into wing half forward.
Great bit of fielding there by Garvin Jones, but oh, bad ball, and it's cut out by Ulton. Oh,
It's
and
Brian's
Brian.
first contribution.
Brian's
No,
first.
it's
and
not a deliberate trip. You went with the foot, but you didn't catch him.
I think, in fairness to Martin, a bit of common sense there with the player
Absolutely.
just on,
Yeah, just on the
the
pitch.
field.
Yeah.
You know, other referees might have looked at that one different, but you know, a young player just on the field and a rash tackle.
It is, and again, I suppose it slows the game down, unfortunately, from a Derrygonnelly perspective. Takes the ball out of the play.
21 minutes gone here in the second half, 9 minutes to go. Erne Gaels lead by 6 points. This is Maurice McLaughlin along with Niall Smith bringing you this game on Fermanagh GAA TV, sponsored by Monaghan Brothers. An injury here in front of us. Alton Callum is down. I don't know, is he keeping the sun out of his eyes there, or
Could be. Maybe he's getting a rest because he's getting through a lot of work in the second half. And in fact, I think those two men in the picture, along with Ryan Lyons, have made such a difference in the second half. I think they just seem to be in the right place at the right time.
you know, it's a factor of a lot of rural clubs.
Yeah,
The bands of brothers.
that's it.
You have 3 McCanns involved here tonight. You have 3 Callums, and Oisin plays Ulton away, and away he goes. No ill effects from that injury, and away he goes down the wing. He takes 2 Derrygonnelly men with him. He goes round Conor Burns, and he's bearing in from the wing. And has he fisted that one over the bar? He has indeed. That's an excellent score.
That's the second score of the second half.
The physio here in front of us is smiling. I think he's claiming a con.
I think what was in the water bottle obviously was pretty good now, but at the same time I think Ulton maybe was just more catching his breath there, and obviously it worked.
I mean, special player,
speed and just the ability to take his man on. It's a big thing in Gaelic football nowadays, just to know that you can do that.
Erne Gaels in a commanding lead now, 7 points with 7 or 8 minutes left in the game.
With 8 minutes left to go, and it's going to be an uphill battle for the Harps. I think they're going to need a couple of quick scores here to try and really fasten themselves down again.
Mickey gives it to Brian McKenna, and Brian moves forward with pace, but he comes into a wall of Erne Gaels man. Ronan McGovern plays a diagonal crossfield ball looking for the big man inside, but out comes Ryan Lyons with the ball.
Yeah, I think there was no shouting in there. Possibly needed a bit more communication between the two lads there in terms of who was going up for the ball and who was staying down.
Ryan plays it across field to Brian Mullen. Brian has Greg Midlone outside him, but elects to go inside, cuts inside, and he gives it to Ben McCann. Ben twists and he turns and he gives it back to Brian Mullen. Brian gives it to Ryan Lyons, and Ryan plays it downfield there. And it's Martin Gilfeather. It's getting very difficult to see with his son.
There's a few changes there as well.
Lee Jones has played the ball over here.
It's Brian
McKenna and Tommy McCaffrey chasing, and a great tackle, but Garvin Jones comes up with the ball. Back out to Brian McKenna. Brian to Ronan McGovern. Ronan plays it to Aidan McKenna into Conor Burns, and Conor goes and he's fouled, but he's still in possession, and no advantage accruing there for Dergonly. So Martin Higgins calls back the play, and Erne Gaels will be quite happy to.
They will. Again, that was a good drive by Conor Burns. Again, pulled the tackle, and possibly Derrygonnelly haven't maybe done enough of that at times. When they've had a bit of success, whether it be by a free or being able to create a score. I think we're going to need a bit more of that.
Yeah, it's but you know, I suppose you have to say here too, Niall, a very understrength Dergonly team. You're missing the 2 Joneses, you're missing Eamon McHugh, you're missing Decky Cassidy, possibly a few more, and very uncharacteristically there from Garvin Jones. It
is, yeah. I mean, Garvin's usually very sure off his left, and this is his first game back in a while, so it's good to see him out there, I have to say.
And he certainly had a great first 15 minutes of that second half. He scored 3, if not 4 points.
He did. He showed a lot of leadership there in the second half. He scored a 3 plus 2 points, you know, so
3 points.
certainly a lot of work.
Brian kicks it long, and this time Ryan Lyons again, and Oisin Kellam is there, and he's got Greg on his shoulder, and Oisin Kellam bears down on goals, and he gives it to Greg, and Greg just I think a good tackle from Mickey Jones shadowed him there, and probably just as he was getting the shot off, he might have got a...
Yeah, again, I think he was slightly off balance as well, and maybe caught in two minds what he was going to do with it, because it was initially a goal chance, because they had the extra man. But again, Mickey showing his experience there, and again, Derrygonnelly need to get a couple of quick scores here if they're going to have any chance here. Aidan
McKenna carries the ball upfield, probe and run, and he plays it inside, and Lee Jones, and Lee plays it to Brian McKenna, and Brian off the left foot, and a good score by Brian.
Yeah, very good score. And again, you can see the difference when they start running there, how it's actually paying dividends. Brian's added a bit of an injection here since he came on, and that's good to see. He's not afraid to have a go, that's for sure.
3 minutes of normal time left here in Páirc na hEirne, and a point there from Brian McKenna reduces the deficit to 6 points. And I'm surprised that, you know, this kick out, he's gone to Alton nearly short every time.
And not only that, it's been to this side. And again, it was the same on the far side. He was on the dugout side on that corner as well. And again, it's just been a bit too easy. But Alton has been the main go-to, or Ryan Lyons and a couple of other lads
Ward.
as well.
Paul carries the ball out of defence. He's shadowed there by Brian McKenna, is given to Michael Ogue, and Michael Ogue moves forward, and Tommy McCaffrey, and Tommy's faced by two Dergonly men, and he turns back inside, and he gives it back to Greg Midlone, and Greg gives it into space there, and it's Paul McCaffrey, number 23, who's come on as a sub, better known as Packy, and the ball cut out there
by Oisin Smith.
It's
Garvin now.
Garvin Jones comes up the field, and he plays it back inside. Oisin Smith to Garrett McGovern. Garrett moves cross field. Dergonly really need a few scores here. We're into the last couple of minutes, and Mickey Jones sends a long probing ball, and it goes over the bar.
It was actually a very good point by Mickey, but I don't think that's exactly what he was trying for. Stephen on the edge of the box, but just actually overhit it a wee bit, but it was an excellent point when you look at it.
Brian Ryder got his fingertips to it, I think, and just helped it over the bar. Probably was the safer option.
It was, yeah, but again, Mickey was a fair distance out there. And
I think he the breeze behind him, he probably was just trying to drop one in, and it comes out this wing again, and this time it's Brian, and Brian's the judge to fouled it on the ground, and Dergonly come forward. They're looking for scores here, and Garvin Jones goes and he beats the tackle, and he turns back inside, and he plays a high ball in, and it's gone over the bar, and they've reduced the deficit to 4.
Yeah, again, a good speed work in terms of moving the ball forward has paid dividends here. Garvin didn't panic on the ball, and his strengths managed to pull the ball through.
As we're into the final minute of normal time here at Páirc na hEirne, this game live on Fermanagh GAA TV. I'm Maurice McLaughlin with Niall Smith here, and the game brought to you by Monaghan Brothers. Brian Ryder kicks it out, and it goes long. It's flicked on. It's flicked on by Michael O, but Dergonly come up with it again, and Dergonly, I must say, they're not going down without a fight here. Has played out to Stephen Gilroy, and Stephen's out in that far wing, and he's got a runner, and the runner comes inside, and he plays the ball, and a goal chance. Yeah. And it's put over the bar by Ronan McGovern.
So it's 3 quick points by Derrygonnelly, and again, all very similar in terms of running at the defence here. Yeah. That's Connor's second point of the game.
I make the point earlier, you know, when these teams inject a bit of pace, it's amazing.
It is, yeah, and
it's scores.
It's pace and direct running as well, which makes the difference, and men coming off the shoulder.
Runners off the shoulder, and I suppose that Erne Gaels goal was that second goal, the vital score of this half.
It was, and again, that's unusual for Erne Gaels, and actually hit the far side.
Connor plays it in. Oh, it looks like it's dropping into Paul Ward. Erne Gaels probably need to steady the ship here now, because as we enter injury time, they're leading by 3 points, but with the talent that Dergonly have on the field, we probably have 3 or 4 minutes of injury time with the subs coming on. Greg Midlone plays back. Dergonly looking to plays a cross-field ball. Oisin Kellam. Oisin evades the tackle and moves out, and he plays it out to Brian Mullen. Oisin Kellam has got through a mountain of work here.
He has, yeah. He didn't panic there in the ball. He knew that he was sort of, he had to take the ball out. Just spun around his man and away he went, and a clean ball out. And he's taking the ball under control here now and trying to control the game.
Yeah.
And see it out.
I'd say Erne Gaels will try and see the game out here now. Shane Mimna, Shane with the ball. Shane plays it back. Plays it to Paul McCaffrey, who plays it to Michael Ogue. And it's back to Brian Mullen, the very experienced Brian. Won championship medals with Derrygonnelly Gaels in London. And Tommy was quite fortunate there. Plays it inside to Michael Ogue, and Tommy's away up the wing. Acres of space in front of him. And he gives it out to Ulton. And Ulton kicks a fine point, and
that's
he would have to play,
at this stage. That's his third point as well, which is good play by Ulton, but he certainly wasn't afraid to have a go.
Erne Gaels reaching that magical 210, that's 16 points.
So that's full time at
full
this stage.
Time. Martin Higgins blows the whistle, 2 minutes of injury time played. And at Páirc na hEirne, it finishes Erne Gaels 210, Derrygonnelly 12 points. A 4-point victory for Erne Gaels. Very good game of football.
It's a good game of football, and again, it's true what they say, goals win matches, and that's certainly what has happened here. They were the two crucial scores of the game. Derrygonnelly had a couple of chances, one in particular from Stephen McGullion, which they were unfortunate with. I think at that stage of the game, if that had been executed, it would have left it maybe a different game for the last sort of 15 minutes. Erne Gaels dug in, managed to go 7 points in front, which was a good sign of a team that's developing well, didn't panic on the ball. I suppose had a few jittery moments, I suppose in the last sort of 5 minutes, particularly when Derrygonnelly started to run at them. You could see they were making inroads in terms of defence, either executing scores or winning frees. And I suppose that's something for Erne Gaels to look at as well. In terms of Derrygonnelly, obviously, I'd have to say, I suppose, a fairly youthful team out tonight, and I think that'll it'll put them in good stead in terms of how this is finished. In terms of how they did in the last 5 minutes, they didn't roll over. They kept going to the end. But obviously it's a disappointing defeat, but at the same time very few teams will come here this season and come away with a victory, because it's such a hard place to win anyway.
And I would say, Niall, that last 4 or 5 minutes, it was the younger guys that stepped up for Derrygonnelly. Brian McKenna's introduction seemed to bring a wee bit of pace, and himself, Ronan McGovern, Conor Burns, they seemed to step up there in the last 5 minutes. And would you say we've seen two teams who will play a big part in the latter part of the championship as we go forward, as the season progresses? I
suppose it'll all depend on draws and everything else, and I suppose a lot of teams are putting their hands up at the minute in terms of how well they're going. I mean, if you look at Connolly, they certainly feel that they've got an excellent chance, and Enniskillen Gaels obviously will always feel that they've an excellent chance, and they certainly feel that they have the calibre player to win it. And Erne, of course, will never be far away. There are other teams too who will feel that they can knock on the door, but at the same time, I think both of these teams would like to think they'll be there at the end, and certainly I think both of them have a chance. I suppose Derrygonnelly, until they get the full squad together, it's very difficult to know what exactly is going to happen.
As you rightfully point out, we're entering into a phase and a championship that we'll really look forward to, because it's probably one of the most open championships in years. You pointed out there, rightfully so, these two teams could play a part. HEirne will fancy their chances. Connolly have Dom Corrigan back there, and as we both know, Dom will certainly fancy his chances. Connolly sitting top of the league with 10 points.
Yeah, I mean, certainly Dom is always going to be a factor no matter where he is, but at the same time, I suppose Connolly will always feel that they have a chance no matter who's in charge. I have to say, they've decent strength and depth, and they certainly worked very hard, and they would certainly fancy their chances. I suppose the Dom factor gives them that, would make them feel they have an extra edge this year. So because of that experience that he brings, and I suppose he's won in other counties, and I suppose for him to be with his home club is a massive thing. So that, which will be interesting. But say the same could be said for quite a lot of the teams, and the good thing is, I suppose, a few of the teams, likes of Erne Gaels here, have home management teams in place, and I suppose Enniskillen something similar. And sometimes there is that wee bit of hunger there because of that. So it'll just be, I suppose, interesting to see how the league develops now as we come into the latter stages of it. I mean, that's I think Erne Gaels now joined top after that win tonight. Obviously it depends on score difference and whatnot. Obviously the other teams have a game in hand. But it means that both Erne Gaels and Derrygonnelly have half the league, over half the league played now. They only have 4 matches left, so it's going to be interesting to see how the rest of the league goes. So, I mean, teams are going to beat each other. So who's going to be in the top 2 remains to be seen. But obviously everybody's fighting for places in terms of the championship, and that's good about the league because it gives teams, even though they're not maybe in with a shout of winning the league, they still have something to play for in terms of their championship position.
Yes, another team that we didn't mention there that, you know, I've seen once this year is Benelec.
Absolutely, and I should have mentioned them earlier too.
They're a team that could be dark horses. Colin Bradley, Eddie McElroy is in there with them, and they have Cecil with them from SCAA.
That's
this
right.
year, you know, it'll depend, I suppose, the availability of the personnel that they have, but they certainly could be dark horses as well, and it just adds to this, you know, the tastiness of the championship that we're about to enter into in a few weeks' time.
It is, and I mean, Benelec, I've been impressed with them over the years, and particularly when they're at full strength, they're a hard team to beat. They have the skill level, they have the physical strength, particularly a good backbone down through the middle, and obviously with Colin there and Cecil adds another wee edge to it there too. I don't think they'll be far away, and obviously with some of the players that are there, their skill level is excellent.
Yeah, well, I suppose that's all going to unfold in front of us. All those stories over the next few weeks and months, and they'll all develop. And no doubt you and the rest of the Fermanagh senior management team will be watching all this and looking. I suppose you've seen some of the players that you have in with you already here tonight, but looking for new talent as well. And there's no doubt, you know, there is a strength in depth in Fermanagh.
There is, and I suppose it's a case of self-belief as well. I mean, you can see, you know, the likes of Westmeath, for example, winning the Talton Cup, what it has done for them in terms of the support that they had, and, you know, even driving through Cavan, the support that they had throughout their county in the lead up to the Talton Cup and the final itself. That's something we're striving towards, and obviously we're trying to develop a team with good, strong players that want to play for their county. Obviously, some guys do make the choice of not wanting to participate, but at the end of the day, you want to encourage every single player that plays for their club. If they feel they have a chance to play for the county, they should really go for it, and that's where the championship's brilliant, because it brings that competitive edge. It lets you see how players can cope with it, and you can see what level they're at. And what's even better this year is the fact that you don't just have one championship game. You're going to have 3 championship games, so each of those players are going to be in the shop window for the three matches, and obviously during the league we're keeping an eye on how things are going there as well.
Yeah, and you know, I've always heard this argument about the smaller county, the weaker so-called smaller county, and all of this stuff. And I've often had this conversation. I really feel we should turn this to our advantage, because we may have that smaller pool, but you know, we should be able to identify the talent.
We'll just see Martin coming over to us
Martin,
here. It was great to have his have the microphone on him. I thought he was going to come over and give us a few comments on how we were getting on, maybe Morris as well.
No, but I think now Phil is probably giving us the wrap up sign there. So this is Morris McLaughlin signing off, and thanks very much, Niall.
Been a pleasure, Morris.
For your insight and comments. Victory here tonight for Erne Gaels in this league game, and I think, you know, these two teams, we'll see them as the season goes further on, and Dergonly maybe with the Joneses back. It'll be interesting to see these two teams in the latter part of the championship. But as we sign off here from Páirc na hEirne with a final scoreline of Erne Gaels 2-10 to Dergonly 12 points on this game, brought to you on Fermanagh TV by Monaghan Brothers. This is Morris McLaughlin and Niall Smith leaving you from Páirc na hEirne.